Hey there, and welcome to Next Level in Charleston, South Carolina. My name is JD McNair, and here we will talk everything from real estate sales to the hottest restaurants and special events in the Charleston area. You can catch up on each episode on iTunes, Google Play, and Facebook. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Next Level. I hope everybody had a great Labor Day weekend. And today, I'm answering a question that somebody emailed in to us. Actually, it was an email. And they had the question, and they see this happening on TV and in other different avenues of advertising about staging. And what we're trying to do is determine, or what they're trying to do is determine if they need staging or not. So I have a person that I've known for a number of years, and she has a niche. And her niche is that she will list your house for free. No, she will stage your house for free.
Nice try.
Thanks. She will stage your house for free if you list it with her. And she also does list homes that don't need staging, and she also does stage homes that just want to have a nicer looking house. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. Well, I have Elizabeth Baker here with me today, and I would like to welcome you. This is your first episode with us.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. I see some statistics that I'm going to let her get into this a little bit more in detail and the need for it, because I don't know too much about staging. But they say you can get more money for the property if it's staged properly, and I don't know how that's possible, but she's here to tell us and give us some live examples of things that she's done in the past and how she became successful doing it. So here she is.
All right, so I'll start by saying what I say to everybody when I come into your listing appointment. I say there's no judgment here. How you live and how you stage to sell are two completely different things. You have to detach yourself emotionally from the home. Anything that is personal to you, you love that, let's go ahead and pack it up and get it out. And anything that doesn't go with, since we're here in the low country, with the coastal motif, just needs to go ahead and get packed up. And you have to commit yourself to the sale and make a home feel like a home instead of just a property to people.
I can totally relate to that. I've taken listings before when the person's decor was like dark purple walls, and they had some fake plants hanging from their bed posts and stuff like that, and it looked really odd in pictures. People probably didn't really want to come take a look at it. So one thing we know is that everybody is attracted to the internet now to find homes. So I guess that falls into the first impression, because it usually is the first time they see the home.
Correct. We live in an HGTV society now, whether we like it or not, and whether those items that don't convey should matter is not relevant. They do matter. All of these buyers, or I would say the majority, have walked through a model home at some point. So now they have that in their head, what this model home looks like, but they can't afford that model home. So if that model home was $400,000, but they can only afford $300,000, if your home shows just like the model and has similar accent pieces and similar decor, and it feels like the model, it convinces them that they are buying something similar to the model and they feel more comfortable with it. So I always say, let's make your house the model. Does this look like what you would open a magazine and see? If not, it's got to go. Let's move my stuff in. Or if you don't use me, a staging company, and have them bring their stuff in. It's usually maximum 1% of the purchase price or the sale price for a stager who is with a staging company. And isn't that more worth it than dropping your price in increments of $5,000 or $10,000? I mean, do it right the first time.
Let me ask you this question, and then that all makes sense. Have you ever taken a listing on that wasn't staged at all? Because I've sold many properties that didn't have any furniture in it, although I'd like there to have been so they can see the size of the rooms and such. Has there ever been a property that didn't sell, and then all of a sudden you come in and you put your pizzazz on it, and then does that help it sell? Or did you have examples?
Multiple times. My very first listing in Charleston was on James Island, and it sat for 6 months prior to me, and it wouldn't sell. They didn't even get an offer, hardly got any showings. It was occupied with tenants, and it was cluttered, definitely not staged. Some of the rooms were stark, some were overcrowded. And I promised them that I would not only list it higher than it was listed before, but that I would get them more than they expected for the house. They doubted it. The parents definitely doubted it, of these girls in their 20s. And I proved them all wrong. And I still drive by that house on a very regular basis. And I smile when I drive by, because that's when I realized that I was onto something here with this staging thing. And I got them more than they ever could have imagined for that property in multiple offers. And then the next one that I remember that stands out was, there's some little condos here on James Island that don't go for very much. And at the time, the highest sale in there had been like, I think $98,000, 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom things, And the seller that called me said, I don't really think you're going to be able to list this as high as you're saying. And I said, no, I will. She goes, but what about comps? I said, just watch. I said, I will get you 120 for this property. She said, but nothing in there has even sold for 100. I said, just watch. And I staged it. And made it look like a magazine. We got multiple offers, and we did get a cash offer, but it was still contingent upon that appraisal. And even the appraisers, whether they should or should not be influenced by furnishings, they are. So I never, ever, ever pull staging items until the appraisal has cleared, because it does even make the appraisers see that the place feels and looks nicer. Mm-hmm. So it does work. It absolutely works. I've broken comps because of it.
Interesting. The person that asked about this was a consumer. I guess they're probably thinking about maybe listing their house for sale, and I don't know if it is or isn't furnished, and I don't know if they are looking to do any staging. How much is entailed when you go to stage a house? Like, give the person that asked the question an idea of how long does it take, how much stuff needs to go into it, and just run us through a short version of how long it really probably takes. I can't imagine it takes 10 minutes, but I don't know if it takes 2 days either.
Well, if it's a completely empty large property, it can take me up to a full week. Oh. And depending on my scheduling, it wouldn't take a full week if I was working an 8-hour day on the staging. But, there's back and forth, there's transportation of items, there's gathering items, and that's what takes the most time for me, is gathering the items, picking out what I'm going to put in there, then transporting it there. Once it's all on site, it doesn't take me that long. And there's a bunch of tricks to the trade, creating fake beds out of things, and things that people would never know.
Fake bed?
Fake bed, yeah.
Fake beds.
Fake beds. A lot of those pictures you see of my beautifully staged homes, including the one the Post and Courier just posted in their article.
You were in the Post and Courier?
I was. They interviewed me on staging and design, and the photo that they used for one of the small office bedrooms, it did have closets. I wanted to show it as a bedroom. I always say, if it's a bedroom, stage it as a bedroom. Because if it's staged as an office, it doesn't matter if it has closets. The buyers walk through and say, but that's really an office. You need to show them that it's a bedroom. So pack that office away. You can live like that for a couple weeks, because if you stage it right, it's not going to take that long to sell.
Do you have an average amount of time that it does sell in compared to people that don't stage or have their own terrible looking furniture?
Except for very unique situations, like like Folly Beach takes a little longer to sell. Downtown, like a condo downtown. If you look at days on market, those aren't the ones that generally go in a day. Mm-hmm. But most of my listings get multiple offers the first week.
Oh, that's good.
With what I do. Now, if somebody is already living with nice stuff and everything is pretty neutral, they might not really need that much. I've been in that situation a couple of times recently where I just needed to readjust some things, show them that, example, you don't want the back of the couch facing the door when people come in. It's an uninviting look. Mm-hmm. If you want to live like that because that's the best way for the TV watching, that's great. That's how we all do it. But when you want to invite people into your home to buy it, you want to show them that it's open. And so just moving a couch around, one that I am listing shortly, and we just finished the staging. We just took some parts out of their sectional. It was too big. It was just overwhelming for the room size. There's been a lot of situations where the people have the right stuff. It just needed a little bit of tweaking. And then in other situations, people have very unique tastes, whether it's Asian, Indian, African, pop culture. Like, just some people are into like the movie posters, and that's great. And that's how you live, and you definitely live how you want. But when it comes time to sell, appeal to the masses, not the minority. So if 95% of people like neutral and 5% like bright purple, let's not appeal to the 5% and have that be a reason for somebody to not buy your home. So with staging comes, of course, taking advice on color choices, because I can stage with my coastal motif all I want. If you have a red and purple room, it's still going to be a red and purple room. I can't change that for you.
That's not going to change.
No.
I had a property one time. This was about 7 or 8 years ago, and it was a music room, and everything in there had a music motif, and all the walls, every single wall was covered with like albums, and there must have been 100 of them, and I could tell the person that really loved that, and that was like their big hobby was music. Obviously, they're probably some type of musician, but I told them I had to take it all down, and because it just too cluttering for a person's eye. And maybe you can elaborate on this. If there's too much stuff in there, it kind of feels a little bit confined, or it takes the people's mind off of the features of the home. Is that accurate?
That's absolutely true. And I just recently listed one in Folly Beach, and it's almost $1 million listing. Their stuff was amazing. Everything was great. And when you walk in person, it's wow. But then I showed them some examples online of listings that aren't selling, that have books all over the bookshelves like they had, for example. It looks great in person because it's a bookshelf. That's what it's for. In a photo, it looks like clutter. So I showed them, let's just reduce it down to a few of the most attractive books and put it back up there with a couple of coastal art pieces. And then they left, they came back, and I showed them the shelving again, and they were wowed. It made a world of difference. And I see it all the time. And I walk in with my buyers, and I remind my buyers, hey, all that clutter is not going to be there, but it clutters their minds.
Oh, yeah.
They can't focus. And the personal pictures are the worst thing. Nobody cares how much you like your dog, your cat, your kids. They're making judgments based on that stuff. If you're in the military and you have your military uniforms hanging, they're making judgments. I wonder if they got orders overseas. I wonder this, that, and the other. How quick are they trying to sell?
Transferred to another
Correct.
base somewhere.
Correct. If there's only men's or only women's clothing in the closets, they're making judgments. Oh, is this person going through a divorce? Do they need to sell quickly? I have absolutely suggested to single sellers, go ahead, a female, go ahead and put a men's stuff. If you can get some men's stuff from a friend, whatever, I'll loan you some stuff from my husband. Like, let's make sure the closet is staged for multiple people, not just like a few little dresses that shows that it's one single person by themselves. Nothing wrong with that, but again, we're staging to sell, and that does include the closets, because if they open your closet and it's a hot mess, it doesn't matter.
They open closets.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I know we're running out of time, and I kind of grabbed you last minute because I saw you on Facebook and said, hey, would you have time to come by? And I really do appreciate you coming in and sitting down and giving our audience some really good tidbits. I think based off of the stuff that I've seen your before and afters on your Facebook page, you're doing a knockout job, and I would just say continue to keep doing it. And for those of you out there, her name is Elizabeth Baker, and you can look her up on Facebook. I think she's pretty much an open book. If you want to ask her some questions, I'm sure she'd be happy to help you out.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Take care.
Bye.
Well, that's it for today, folks. Join us in 2 weeks for another episode of Next Level in Charleston, right here on iTunes and Google Play. Leave comments or questions about the episode, and we'll be happy to answer them for you. If there's other things you'd like to hear in the future, please let us know. Check out our page on Facebook and Instagram. Stay cool, Charleston.